always said yes because I know I'd win. But I did watch a bit of footage of Dana sparring. He's actually not bad.
Listen, if Eddie wants to box, we can box. We can box if Eddie wants.
Dana White, Eddie Hearn fight that apparently might happen, probably won't. If Eddie wants to box, we can box. Dana White versus Eddie Hearn in a boxing match 2020.
Eddie Hearn explodes at Dana White after he calls him out, and suddenly this rivalry between two of combat sports' most powerful figures is turning into a bizarre but fascinating showdown. After Dana White publicly challenged him following the Tom Aspinall signing, Hearn didn't back down. Instead, he fired straight back, admitting the fight wouldn't be easy, but warning he could still land one clean right hand and spark Dana White out.
And also, there is so much money in that fight, I would get paid an absolute fortune. So I would have to do it anyway. But on all the others, I'd say I'd win easy. But against him, it ain't going to be easy. And I might get chinned and flattened. But I could use the reach, just ping him with the right hand, and I could knock him spark out.
The tension between Eddie Hearn and Dana White is clearly escalating, and the possibility of this unlikely clash is starting to capture serious attention. Eddie Hearn isn't holding anything back, and he's absolutely raging at Dana White's call out. He's fired up, making it clear this isn't some casual joke. He's ready to step into the ring and prove himself. With a massive payday on the line and the eyes of the boxing world watching, Eddie warns that Dana could be in serious trouble if he underestimates him.
Serious question.
He's genuinely called the fight on. Listen, you always say to me, would you fight Frank Warren? Would you fight Ben Shalom? Would you? And I've always said yes, or Simon Jordan, or whatever, because I know I'd win those fights. But I watched Dana sparring.
There you go.
By the way, of course I'd do it. Because how could you say no? Then you'd be a pussy, wouldn't you? By the way, Netflix will pay an absolute fortune, or live on DAZN, the global home of boxing. So I'll probably make a fortune to do it. And if I got chinned, I'll get chinned. But I'll probably spark him out, to be fair.
The buzz around Eddie Hearn versus Dana White is reaching another level, and now even fighters like Tom Aspinall are weighing in. He's calling it a must-watch showdown, pointing out Eddie's real boxing experience and the threat he poses. Dana might have tricks up his sleeve, but everyone can see the tension building. If this fight actually happens, it wouldn't just be a spectacle, it could turn into one of the most talked about promoter battles in history.
Final one, Eddie versus Dana, who wins?
Oh mate, Eddie's got that background. Eddie's got that boxing background. He was telling me the other day he's had 4 fights, so yeah. But I think Dana does sneaky know what he's doing, doesn't he? But them two should fight. I'll be the...
Dana White is officially throwing down the gauntlet, openly calling out Eddie Hearn and making it clear he's ready if Eddie steps up. Dana's confidence is palpable, reminding everyone of his own boxing background and experience with top fighters. But now the spotlight shifts. Can Eddie back up all his bold claims? The stage is set, and the tension between these two powerhouses is reaching a boiling point.
Listen, I used to, back in the day, I used to box with all the guys, boxers and UFC guys. I have boxed.
So if Eddie Hearn's up for it, you're on for it.
Absolutely.
The Wade concept is calling out Dana White hard, breaking down Eddie Hearn's masterful chess move after Dana swooped in and poached Conor Benn from Matchroom. He describes how devastating it was for Eddie emotionally, catching him off guard. Dana's aggressive attitude and insults only fueled the fire, turning this business dispute into a heated personal battle. In boxing, it's messy, nasty, and absolutely explosive.
Tom Aspinall, Eddie Hearn. This is a chess move from Eddie Hearn to Dana White. After Dana White comes in, stole that, give me that shit, takes Conor Benn from Eddie Hearn in Matchroom. Big deal. You guys have seen it over the last week and a half play out. Eddie was saying how, devastating it was emotionally. It took him off guard. Dana was like, stop being a pussy, bitch. And it was getting a little nasty. But that's the fight business. It's a little nasty. And you wondered what Eddie would do. What would
Michael Bisping is breaking down the chaos and calling out Dana White indirectly, explaining how Eddie Hearn is shaking things up to get back at the UFC. According to Bisping, Dana's strict control is leaving Eddie stuck, unable to fight elsewhere or make moves without legal risks. The tension is palpable, and this battle isn't just personal, it's a high-stakes power struggle that could have major consequences for both sides.
Because I'm telling you, I think Eddie is just trying to get back at the UFC here. He's trying to cause annoyance for Dana White. Eddie's going to want to resign. They won't allow him to resign. And as I say, in the meantime, he gets stalled out, sits on the sidelines, and tons of time pass by. He won't be able to go fight in another organisation. He certainly will not be able to go and box, because if he does, he will be breaching contract and no doubt will get sued. So I don't know. I hope I'm wrong.
The Wade concept is praising Eddie Hearn's strategy while taking a shot at Dana White's UFC dominance. He points out that MMA operates on its own rules, and there's nowhere else for fighters like Eddie to flex outside the UFC. In other words, Eddie's move is bold, smart, and calculated, but it's also poking at Dana's control, making this feud even more personal and high stakes.
Very smart move from Eddie. I don't know how much it'll amount to in MMA, because MMA is its own, beast. The UFC is the sport of MMA. So if you're not fighting there, where are you fighting? There's not.
Tom Aspinall is putting Dana White's distance under the microscope, noting that UFC fighters don't have a personal relationship with him and deal only through intermediaries like Hunter. By highlighting this, he shows just how detached Dana can be, while Eddie Hearn plays a direct and aggressive game. Last one, it makes Dana look reactive, while Eddie is clearly pulling the strings in this high-stakes, behind-the-scenes war.
Fighters don't really have a personal relationship with Dana. We go through Hunter, so I don't think it's really his job defending him. I don't think it's really his job to reach out, but no, I've not spoke to him personally.
Liam Go is blasting Dana White's bold moves, calling out his attempt to poach Conor Benn and shake up the business. But Eddie Hearn isn't backing down. He fires back hard by signing UFC heavyweight champ Tom Aspinall. This is a masterclass in power and strategy. While Dana flexes his UFC influence, Eddie shows he can fight back just as fiercely, making it clear that no one can intimidate him. The tension is off the charts, and both sides are ready to clash.
That is next level when you think about it. So Eddie Hearn with this managerial agency, so he's going to be... hang on a minute.
Tom Aspinall calls out Dana White's tight control over UFC fighters, highlighting how restrictive contracts stall talent. Dana's power is undeniable, but Eddie Hearn's vision proves he's the one who's playing the long game. By expanding commercial opportunities and taking charge outside the octagon, Eddie is sending a direct challenge to Dana's dominance. This isn't just business, it's personal. Every move Eddie makes is a counter to Dana's authority, and the tension between them could erupt into a fight nobody saw coming.
I had a relationship, and I literally didn't see that coming. And to be honest with you, I wasn't going to mess with Eddie at all. I liked him, and it's been absolutely crazy. I'm talking about him. This guy hasn't shut up since the day I got into the sport. The reason I'm actually,
Johnny Nelson calls out Dana White's domineering control while backing Eddie Hearn's sharp, calculated response. Eddie isn't just reacting. He's taking charge, making strategic moves that hit Dana where it hurts. Nelson emphasizes that this isn't about money. It's about proving who controls the sport. Dana's influence is massive, but Eddie's intelligence, timing, and boldness make him a serious threat. The tension is palpable, the rivalry is personal, and fans are witnessing a battle of wits and power that could explode at any moment.
He's hurt, and his team are hurt, and I get it. I remember when Eddie left Sky for the Zone, we were like kids, like parents, are split up thinking, whoa, what's going on here? That was a business move. For us, it was a personal, because we loved the union with Sky and Matchroom. We loved that. But that was a business move for them, so it worked for him. So you understand, it comes at different levels. So I understand where Eddie's coming from. I understand where Conor's coming from. I understand the public are thinking, how can he be such an ungrateful so-and-so? I get it. But this boxing is a sport, is a business disguised.
Dana White is openly stunned by Eddie Hearn's audacious moves, and the tension between the two is explosive. Once allies, this relationship has now turned into a high-stakes rivalry. Eddie isn't just reacting, he's strategically pushing back, showing the world he's willing to take the fight head on. Dana may have decades of UFC dominance behind him, but Eddie's audacity, boldness, and ability to manipulate the business side make him a formidable opponent. Every decision Eddie makes, from management deals to public statements, is a calculated challenge to Dana's authority. Fans are watching a promoter vs. promoter war unfold, where business, ego, and personal pride collide. If this escalates into an actual fight, the entire combat sports world is in for a spectacle like never before.
It's crazy. Eddie and I had a relationship, and I literally didn't see that coming. And to be honest with you, I wasn't going to mess with Eddie at all. You know, I liked him, and I mean, that's just it's been absolutely crazy. I'm talking about him. This guy hasn't shut up since the day I got into the sport. The reason I'm actually, you know, listen, and Eddie said, "Oh, this is great. I look forward to competing with him, and there's a lot of things he doesn't know about boxing."
Michael Bisping breaks down the high-stakes game between Eddie Hearn and Dana White, showing just how personal this rivalry has become. Eddie's move to launch a management agency and sign UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall is more than just business. It's a bold declaration aimed directly at Dana. Bisping emphasizes that Dana's UFC control is massive, but Eddie's strategic thinking, timing, and readiness to go toe-to-toe make him a serious threat. The emotional roller coaster Aspinall went through adds even more intensity, proving that this isn't just a professional conflict, it's a clash of power, influence, and pride. Fans are witnessing a rare spectacle. Two of combat sports' most dominant figures locked in a battle that combines brains, business, and raw ambition. The tension is palpable.
Basically almost crying, right? And now all of a sudden, Eddie Hearn has decided to launch a management agency, and the first person that he has signed is Tom Aspinall, the UFC's heavyweight champion of the world. That's been going through a bit of an emotional roller coaster lately because the fans have kind of turned on him. They've all talked a ton of shit. To be honest, he didn't deserve any of that stuff. Maybe some of the fans thought he could have handled it better or something like that, but regardless, he signed with Eddie Hearn.
Radio Raheem explains how Eddie Hearn is boldly maneuvering around Dana White's dominance in the UFC, directly challenging his authority. By taking control of Tom Aspinall's management through Matchroom, Eddie is sending a clear message. He's not intimidated by Dana's empire. This is more than a business move. It's a provocation, a test of power, and a psychological play that's putting Dana on the defensive. While Dana has massive influence in MMA, Eddie is matching him move for move with strategy, wit, and audacity. Fans are now witnessing a high-stakes game of chess where every decision has huge consequences. The tension between these two is heating up fast, and the combat sports world is glued to every twist, turn, and public showdown in this unfolding promoter war.
Coming, maybe you did, but it hadn't been the word on the street, which I imagine puts Matchroom in the position not as Tom's promoter. In fact, I know that to be a fact because that's not what this release statement says. They're representing him as talent, which is another way to say management, because Eddie Hearn is also not an agent. That's a very specific thing you have to be. So, he is Tom Aspinall's manager, essentially, through Matchroom's talent agent.
Eddie Hearn's bold decision to sign the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion shows he's not just a promoter, but a force to be reckoned with. This move directly challenges Dana White, sending a clear signal that Eddie is willing to shake up the sport and push back against UFC dominance. By praising Aspinall's skill, integrity, and killer instinct, Eddie underscores why this signing isn't just about money, it's a power move. Dana may have decades of control, but Eddie's strategy, courage, and willingness to confront him publicly elevate the rivalry to a whole new level. Fans are witnessing a rare collision of boxing and MMA worlds where personal pride, influence, and raw ambition intersect, setting the stage for one of the most explosive and high-stakes promoter showdowns ever seen.
He's really the flagship of the UFC in terms of that profile of the undisputed heavyweight champion. We all know that in our sport, that is the absolute coup de grace. There's nothing bigger. And, you know, I know that he's been through a little bit of a tough time lately, and it was really one conversation on Zoom, and I just thought to myself, this guy needs some proper representation. I mean, what you're looking at is one of the greatest fighters in the UFC. As I said, the undisputed heavyweight world champion. He is a man of the...
Tom Aspinall highlights Eddie Hearn's genius in using strategy, timing, and business savvy to challenge Dana White's UFC dominance. By managing top UFC talent and creating commercial opportunities outside the cage, Eddie is not just reacting. He's taking control and redefining the power dynamic. Dana's empire may seem untouchable, but Eddie's boldness, tactical thinking, and readiness to confront him make this a rivalry like no other. Every move Eddie makes is both a statement and a direct challenge, forcing Dana to respond. Fans are witnessing a rare spectacle where business ego and personal pride collide. This promoter vs. promoter feud is as intense as any fight in the octagon, with the world watching every move, decision, and counter move as these two powerhouses face off.
And when I spoke to Eddie, it just seemed like it worked. It made a lot of sense to me. I think as UFC fighters, we are in contracts that we can't change, but there's a lot of value that we can make outside of the cage as well. Eddie's seen that. That's what me and my small team thought for a long time, but I wanted to just expand the team a little bit and, you know, broaden my horizons a little bit and make as much money commercially outside the octagon as well as inside, and Eddie and Matchroom are on board.
The tension between Eddie Hearn and Dana White has reached boiling point, and this isn't just a business rivalry anymore. It's personal. Eddie has shown he's fearless, ready to take on Dana in every way, whether it's managing top UFC talent, making multi-million deals, or even stepping into the ring. Dana White isn't backing down either. His influence in MMA is unmatched, and he's proven he can respond with force. Fans are now left to wonder, who's mentally stronger? Who wants it more? If Eddie wins, it could completely shift the power dynamics in combat sports, proving that strategy and audacity can rival pure authority. But if Dana pulls the upset, it would reaffirm why he's the undisputed king of MMA promotion. Are you backing Eddie Hearn's bold moves? Or do you think Dana White will assert dominance? Drop your thoughts below.